Hello everyone. Naruto Fix here, back with another amazing What If Naruto fanfic. Which is, what if Naruto returned to the past to protect Hinata at any cost? Part 1. If you enjoy Naruto stories, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the journey grow. Now let's head right into today's fanfic. The first thing Naruto felt was regret. Not pain, not fear, not even death. Regret sat heavier than all of them combined. He stood on the battlefield where everything had ended, where the wind no longer carried voices and the ground was soaked with memories he could never erase. The war was over. The world was saved. Peace had finally come. But Hinata was gone. Naruto stared at the torn earth where she had fallen, his hands trembling despite the strength that once shook gods. He had won every battle except the one that mattered most. I was too late, he whispered. No one answered him. The sky above cracked with thunder, but there was no storm. Only silence. Only the weight of a future that felt empty. Naruto closed his eyes. If only he had arrived sooner. If only he had noticed the signs earlier. If only he had chosen differently. The world blurred. Then everything shattered. A force older than chakra, deeper than time, wrapped around his consciousness. Naruto felt himself being torn away from the present, dragged backward through memories, through moments, through lives already lived. A voice echoed, not kind, not cruel, but absolute. You wish to return. Quote. Naruto did not hesitate. Yes. You will lose everything you gained. I don't care. You may never return to this future. Then let it burn. The voice paused. And you will carry the pain of remembering everything. Quote. Naruto clenched his fists. Good. I deserve it. The world collapsed. Naruto woke up screaming. He sat upright, gasping for breath, his heart pounding violently in his chest. Sweat drenched his skin. His vision swam as his senses struggled to catch up. He was in a small, cold room. A familiar room. His room. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked down at his hands. They were smaller, unscarred, young. He rushed to the cracked mirror on the wall, nearly tripping over his own feet. The face staring back at him was unmistakable. 12 years old. Still loud. Still alone. Still unaware of how cruel the world could be. Naruto's knees buckled. I came back. The realization hit him like a blade through the chest. He had returned to the past. Not just before the war. Not before pain. Before everything. Naruto pressed his forehead against the mirror, breathing hard. Hinata was alive. Somewhere in this village, walking quietly, hiding her feelings, unaware of the fate that once waited for her. Naruto's hands shook. This time, he whispered, voice breaking, I won't fail you. Quote. Memories flooded his mind all at once. Hinata standing between him and pain. Hinata's blood on the ground. Her hand reaching for him as her body fell. Naruto slammed his fist into the wall. I was supposed to protect you. Quote. The world outside the window was peaceful. Children laughed. Shinobi moved through the streets like nothing was wrong. But Naruto knew better. Darkness was already coming. And this time, he would stand in front of it. Naruto left his apartment quietly, pulling his jacket tighter around himself. He did not rush. He did not shout. He did not act like the child he once was. His eyes were sharp, focused. He walked through the village with purpose, scanning every corner, every shadow, every face. He knew when danger would come. He knew who would move first. And he knew exactly where Hinata would be. The training grounds. Naruto stopped at the edge of the field. There she was. Hinata Hyuga stood alone, practicing gentle movements, her Byakugan flickering as she struggled to maintain balance. She looked smaller than he remembered. Fragile. Human. Alive. Naruto felt his chest tighten painfully. He watched silently as she stumbled, catching herself before falling. She frowned at her own weakness, disappointment written clearly across her face. Naruto took a step forward. Then stopped. This wasn't just about saving her life. It was about changing everything without destroying her future. Naruto clenched his jaw. I'll protect you, he whispered under his breath. Even if it means becoming someone you're afraid of. A shadow moved at the edge of the training ground. Naruto noticed instantly. Too early. Too soon. His eyes narrowed. The past was already shifting. Naruto stepped forward, positioning himself between Hinata and the unseen threat. Time had given him a second chance. And Naruto Uzumaki had decided how it would be used. At any cost. Naruto stood still at the edge of the training ground, his presence unnoticed, yet his senses screamed danger. The shadow he had seen moments ago was faint, fleeting, but unmistakable. He knew that feeling. He had felt it once before in another life, seconds before everything went wrong. This timeline was already deviating. Hinata remained focused on her practice, unaware of the eyes watching her from more than one direction. Her movements were hesitant, her chakra control imperfect, but Naruto saw beyond that. He saw the woman she would become. The strength she would one day show when she stood alone against impossible odds. And he knew exactly when the world would try to take her from him. Naruto stepped forward. His foot brushed the grass. Hinata froze. She turned slowly, her pale eyes widening slightly when she saw him. Her shoulders stiffened, instinctively defensive, though there was no hostility in her posture. Naruto-kun, she said softly. Hearing her voice again nearly broke him. Naruto clenched his fists to keep his composure. He forced himself to breathe normally, to wear the face of the boy he was supposed to be. Hey, he said, more gently than he ever had at that age. Hinata blinked, surprised by the tone. She lowered her hands, unsure what to do with them. I didn't know you trained here, she replied. Naruto nodded. I didn't before. It was the truth, just not the whole one. An uncomfortable silence followed. In his first life, Naruto would have filled it with noise. Jokes. Boasts. Anything to hide his own uncertainty. This time, he stayed quiet. Hinata shifted her weight nervously. Did you need something? Naruto's gaze flicked past her, scanning the tree line. The shadow was gone, but that didn't mean the threat was. I wanted to make sure you were safe, he said. Hinata stiffened. Safe, she repeated. Naruto met her eyes. Yeah, this area isn't as empty as it looks. Her cheeks flushed faintly, but concern crept into her expression. Is something wrong? Before Naruto could answer, the air changed. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but Naruto felt it immediately. A pressure, like chakra pressing down from above, twisted and foreign. He moved without thinking. Naruto stepped directly in front of Hinata. At that exact moment, a kunai shot out from the trees, aimed not at him, but at her heart. Naruto caught it midair. The metal bit into his palm, drawing blood, but he did not flinch. Hinata gasped behind him. Naruto-kun. Naruto's eyes locked onto the tree line. His voice was calm. Too calm for a boy his age. Stay behind me. A figure dropped from the branches ahead, landing lightly on the ground. The man wore a simple cloak, his face partially hidden, but his chakra signature made Naruto's blood run cold. He remembered this man. Not from this time. From much later. You reacted faster than expected, the man said, voice low and curious. Interesting. Naruto tightened his grip on the kunai. You're not supposed to be here yet, Naruto said. The man tilted his head. That's a strange thing to say. Hinata clutched the back of Naruto's jacket, her fingers trembling. Naruto, who is he? Naruto did not look back. Someone who shouldn't be looking at you. The man chuckled softly. So you know who I am. Naruto exhaled slowly. This confirmed it. The future was bleeding into the past. You were sent to observe, Naruto said. Not interfere. The man's eyes narrowed. You speak as if you've seen this before. Naruto's jaw tightened. He had said too much. The man's chakra flared suddenly, sharp and predatory. So, the man murmured, you're the anomaly. Naruto moved again, pushing Hinata farther back without breaking eye contact. If you take one more step toward her, Naruto said quietly, You won't leave this place alive. Quote. The man studied him for several seconds, then smiled. How interesting, he said. In this timeline, you were never meant to notice me. Naruto felt it then. A familiar pull. Time resisting him. A pressure against his chest, as if the world itself was warning him not to change too much, too fast. The man took a step back. Very well, he said. I've seen enough. He vanished in a blur. The forest fell silent again. Naruto stood still for several seconds, listening, sensing, making sure the threat was truly gone. Only when he was certain did he relax his stance. Hinata peeked out from behind him, her eyes wide. That man, he was trying to hurt me, she whispered. Naruto turned to her. Yes, he said honestly. Her breath caught. Why? Naruto hesitated. The truth burned on his tongue. Because in another life, you died protecting me. Because the world decided you were expendable. Because I let it happen. He shook his head. I don't know yet, Naruto said. But I won't let it happen again. Hinata looked at him, confusion mixing with something else. Something softer. Something uncertain. Naruto-kun, you're different today. He smiled faintly. I know. A breeze passed through the training ground, carrying fallen leaves with it. The world looked the same as before. But Naruto knew better. The first move had been made. Someone from the future had noticed Hinata too early. And that meant one thing. Protecting her would no longer be a choice. It would be a war against time itself. And Naruto Uzumaki had already chosen his side. Naruto stayed in front of Hinata even after the forest returned to silence. His senses were stretched outward, searching for the faintest trace of the man who had attacked. Only when he was absolutely certain the presence was gone did he finally lower his guard. Hinata slowly released the back of Naruto's jacket. Her fingers were still shaking. Thank you, she said quietly. Naruto turned toward her, and for a moment he forgot how to breathe. She was alive, unharmed, standing right in front of him. The simple fact felt unreal. You don't have to thank me, Naruto said. That's what I'm here for. Quote. Hinata blinked. Here? For me? Naruto realized how that sounded. He softened his tone. I mean, we're shinobi. We look out for each other. Hinata nodded, though she looked unconvinced. Her gaze lingered on the blood seeping from Naruto's palm. You're hurt, she said, stepping closer despite herself. Naruto glanced at his hand. The wound was shallow, already beginning to close. He shook his head. It's nothing. Hinata hesitated, then reached into her pouch and pulled out a clean cloth. Her movements were gentle, almost hesitant, as if afraid he might pull away. Please, she said softly. At least let me help. Naruto froze. In his first life, Hinata had always been the one hurt while protecting him. Seeing her take care of him instead sent a sharp ache through his chest. He slowly extended his hand. Hinata wrapped the cloth around his palm, her fingers brushing his skin. Her face flushed faintly, but her focus never wavered. You're very calm, she said after a moment. That man, he was dangerous. Most people would have panicked. Naruto's jaw tightened slightly. I've seen worse, he replied. Hinata looked up at him. You talk like someone much older. Quote. Naruto met her gaze. Sometimes, he said carefully, people learn things faster than they should. She considered that, then nodded. The quiet between them was broken by distant voices. Naruto's senses sharpened again. Shinobi were approaching. He recognized the chakra signatures instantly. Kurenai. Kiba. Shino. Team 8. Naruto cursed internally. This was too soon. Too many eyes. Hinata noticed the shift in his posture. My team is coming, she said. They probably sensed the disturbance. Naruto nodded. That's fine. It wasn't fine. Not really. But he couldn't vanish now without raising suspicion. Kiba burst into the clearing first, nose twitching aggressively. What the hell was that? He demanded. I smelled blood. His eyes immediately locked onto Naruto. You again. Shino adjusted his glasses, eyes flicking between the disturbed ground, the snapped branch where the kunai had been thrown, and Naruto's wrapped hand. There was a brief chakra spike, Shino said. Not normal training output. Kurenai stepped forward, her expression sharp but controlled. Hinata, she said, are you hurt? Hinata shook her head quickly. No, sensei. Naruto protected me. Kiba stared. Protected you from what? Naruto answered before Hinata could. Someone was watching from the trees, Naruto said. He attacked. Kurenai's eyes narrowed. Describe him. Naruto paused. He couldn't describe the man truthfully. Not without exposing how much he knew. He was masked, Naruto said instead. Fast. Skilled. Not from the village. That much was true. Shino tilted his head slightly. That does not explain why he retreated. Naruto met his gaze evenly. Maybe he didn't expect resistance. Kiba snorted. From you. Naruto didn't respond. Kurenai studied Naruto carefully. She had taught genjutsu long enough to recognize when someone was hiding more than words. We'll report this to the Hokage, she said finally. Hinata, stay close to your team. Hinata hesitated. She looked at Naruto. Naruto-kun, will you be okay? The concern in her voice was real. Genuine. And it hurt more than any wound. Naruto smiled faintly. I will. Kurenai raised an eyebrow but said nothing. As Team 8 began to move away, Naruto turned in the opposite direction. Hinata took one last look over her shoulder. Their eyes met. Something unspoken passed between them. Naruto waited until their chakra signatures faded into the distance. Only then did he allow his expression to harden. The man who attacked wasn't an assassin. He was a scout. And scouts never moved alone. Naruto clenched his bandaged hand. They've started targeting her earlier than before, he muttered. The past was accelerating, which meant the event he feared most would not wait. The moment when Hinata would be forced to step forward to protect him. Naruto turned toward the village, eyes sharp with resolve. Not this time, he said quietly. I'll reach you first. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across Konoha. And somewhere beyond sight, time shifted again. Watching, adjusting, preparing its next move. Naruto walked through the village with measured steps, his senses stretched far beyond what his younger why should have been capable of. Every sound, every movement, every fluctuation of chakra stood out sharply in his awareness. Konoha looked peaceful, but to him it felt like a fragile illusion stretched thin over something dangerous. The scout's appearance confirmed his fear. The timeline was no longer following its original flow. Hinata was already being observed. Naruto passed familiar streets, hearing laughter, arguments, ordinary life continuing as if nothing had changed. It felt wrong. In his memories, this calm had always been temporary, a brief pause before suffering began. He stopped near the Hyuga compound. Not to enter, just to watch. The white walls stood tall and pristine, guarded carefully. In his first life, he had never paid attention to this place. Back then, Hinata was just a quiet girl who believed in him from afar. Now, this compound felt like a battlefield waiting to happen. Naruto leaned against a nearby building, lowering his chakra presence. If the scout had already reported back, then others would be watching too. Stronger ones. He closed his eyes briefly. The future flooded his mind. Hinata standing before pain. Hinata being struck down. His scream echoing through shattered stone. Naruto's hands trembled. I won't let history repeat itself, he whispered. A shift in chakra pulled him out of his thoughts. Someone was approaching. Naruto opened his eyes as a familiar presence drew closer. Kakashi Hatake. Naruto straightened instinctively. Kakashi moved casually, one hand in his pocket, posture relaxed. But Naruto knew better. Kakashi noticed everything. You've been busy today, Kakashi said without looking directly at him. Naruto blinked. Ha! Kakashi stopped beside him, gaze fixed on the street ahead. Disturbed training ground. Foreign chakra. Kurenai filed a report. He turned his eye slightly. And your name came up. Quote. Naruto swallowed. I was there, he said honestly. Kakashi studied him in silence. Naruto felt that gaze cut deeper than any blade. You reacted faster than usual, Kakashi said. Too fast. Naruto forced a careless shrug. Guess I'm improving. Kakashi hummed thoughtfully. You intercepted an attack meant for Hinata Hyuga, Kakashi continued. Why? Naruto's heart skipped. This was dangerous territory. Because she needed help, Naruto replied. Isn't that enough? Kakashi finally turned to face him fully. For most shinobi, yes, Kakashi said. For you, it raises questions. Naruto met his gaze evenly. Then ask them. Kakashi held his stare for several seconds, then sighed. Whatever you're doing, Naruto, Kakashi said quietly, be careful. Some things draw attention faster than others. Naruto understood the warning beneath the words. I will, Naruto said. Kakashi nodded once and disappeared in a swirl of movement. Naruto exhaled slowly. Even Kakashi was noticing changes. That meant time itself was pushing back. Naruto left the area, heading toward the outskirts of the village. He needed space. He needed to think. And he needed to train. The next threat wouldn't be a scout. It would be an executioner. Naruto reached a secluded clearing and dropped into a fighting stance. His chakra flared briefly, then steadied. He began running through forms, movements refined by decades of battle experience. His body struggled to keep up. Muscles strained. Breath shortened. Sweat soaked his clothes. This body was young, weak, and that was dangerous. Naruto collapsed onto one knee, breathing heavily. Damn it, he muttered. Power without control would expose him. Control without power would get Hinata killed. He needed balance. As he stood again, a familiar presence entered the clearing. Naruto froze. Hinata stepped out from behind the trees, clutching her jacket nervously. Naruto-kun, she said softly. His heart lurched. Hinata, you shouldn't be here. She looked down. I followed you. I was worried. Naruto felt a wave of conflicting emotions crash through him. Fear, guilt, relief. You could have been hurt, he said sharply, then immediately softened his tone. I mean, this place isn't safe. Hinata shook her head. I wanted to thank you. Properly. She took a hesitant step closer. No one has ever done that for me before, she said. Not like that. Naruto clenched his fists. If she stayed close to him, she'd be in even more danger. And yet, pushing her away felt impossible. I didn't do it for thanks, Naruto said. Hinata looked up. Then why? Naruto hesitated. Because I love you. Because I watched you die. Because your life matters more to me than my own. He couldn't say any of it. Because protecting you felt right, he said instead. Hinata's cheeks flushed. A sudden pressure hit Naruto's senses. He stiffened. Someone else was here. Far stronger than before. Naruto stepped forward instantly, placing himself between Hinata and the trees. Hinata, he said calmly, I need you to run back to the village. Right now. She froze. What? Don't argue, Naruto said. Please. The air shifted. A killing intent pressed down on the clearing like a storm cloud. Naruto's eyes hardened. This wasn't a scout. This was a test. And time had decided to see how far Naruto was willing to go. At any cost. The killing intent did not announce itself loudly. It pressed down slowly, deliberately, like an invisible hand closing around Naruto's chest. The air grew heavy. Even the forest seemed to recoil, leaves trembling without wind. Naruto did not move. He had felt this pressure before. Not from pain. Not from Madara. But from someone who killed quietly. Hinata felt it too. Her breath hitched, her shoulders stiffening as instinct screamed danger. She looked at Naruto's back, confusion and fear mixing in her eyes. Naruto-kun. Naruto did not turn around. Hinata, he said evenly, run. Do not look back. Do not stop. She took a step backward, shaking her head. But, now, there was no hesitation in his voice. No panic. Only command. Hinata swallowed hard. She trusted him. She always had. With one last look, she turned and ran toward the village, her footsteps fading quickly. Naruto waited until her chakra signature was far enough away. Only then did he release his own. The pressure snapped. The trees ahead split as a figure stepped forward, cloak dark, face hidden beneath a pale mask etched with unfamiliar markings. The man's presence distorted the space around him, as if reality itself resisted his existence. Naruto's eyes narrowed. So they sent you instead, Naruto said. The masked shinobi tilted his head slightly. You speak as though you expected me. Naruto did not answer immediately. His senses traced the man's chakra. Controlled. Precise. Inhumanely calm. You're not from this time, Naruto said finally. The man's shoulders rose subtly. Interesting, he replied. The reports were accurate. You do see more than you should. Quote. Naruto clenched his fists. Leave, Naruto said. She's not part of this. The masked man laughed softly. She is the reason for this. Naruto's heart sank. So it's confirmed, Naruto said. You're here for Hinata. Quote. The man took a step forward. The ground cracked under his foot. She disrupts the intended flow, the man said. In too many futures, she becomes your anchor. Naruto's jaw tightened. You don't get to decide that. Quote. The masked man raised his hand slightly. The pressure doubled. Your interference is noted, he said. But understand this, Naruto Uzumaki. Protecting her creates greater distortions than letting her fall. Quote. Naruto's eyes burned. I don't care. The man studied him for a long moment. So you choose defiance. Naruto dropped into a fighting stance. I choose her. The man vanished. Naruto reacted instantly, twisting aside as a blade flashed past where his neck had been a moment earlier. The impact shattered a tree behind him. Naruto spun, countering with a kick that the man blocked effortlessly. They separated, feet sliding across the dirt. Naruto's breath was steady. His body, however, screamed in protest. This was not the body he once had. This body was slow. The masked man noticed. You retain the mind of a warrior, he said. But the flesh of a child. Naruto gritted his teeth. That's enough. He lunged again, faster this time, forcing his chakra through strained muscles. The man deflected each strike with minimal movement, as if toying with him. You cannot win, the man said calmly. Not here. Not now. Naruto took a blow to the ribs, sliding back several meters. Pain flared sharply. But you don't need to win, the man continued. You only need to understand. Naruto wiped blood from his mouth and looked up. Understand what? The man raised his blade and pointed it toward the village. Every time you protect her, he said, the cost increases. Naruto's eyes widened. You save her here, the man continued, and the future demands payment elsewhere. Naruto's voice trembled with anger. You're threatening innocent lives. The man shook his head. No. Time is. Naruto clenched his fists so tightly his nails cut into his palms. Then time picked the wrong enemy. The masked man paused. Then, unexpectedly, he lowered his weapon. This was not an execution, he said. It was a confirmation. Naruto stiffened. You were never meant to die here, the man said. Only to be measured. Measured. Naruto's blood ran cold. You pass, the man continued. Barely. The pressure vanished. The man stepped back into the shadows. But remember this, his voice echoed. The more you change, the more violently the world will correct itself. Quote. Naruto shouted after him. I'll protect her no matter what. The man did not turn back. That, he said quietly, is what will break you. He vanished completely. Naruto stood alone in the shattered clearing, chest heaving, body shaking from pain and exhaustion. But he was still standing. He turned toward the village, sensing Hinata's chakra safely within its borders. Naruto exhaled slowly. They've acknowledged her, he whispered. This was no longer about one attack. Hinata had become a fixed point in the war against fate. Naruto straightened. If time wants payment, he said quietly, it'll have to come through me first. The sun dipped below the trees, casting the forest into shadow. And far beyond Naruto's sight, unseen forces began recalculating the future. Naruto remained in the clearing long after the presence disappeared. The forest slowly returned to normal, the oppressive weight lifting little by little, but his body still trembled from the strain. Every breath burned. Every muscle screamed. He forced himself upright. The masked shinobi's words echoed in his mind. Measured. Confirmed. Correction. This was not a simple attempt on Hinata's life. It was an evaluation. The future itself had tested him and found him troublesome. Naruto staggered forward, leaning briefly against a tree. He pressed his palm against the bark until the rough texture grounded him. So that's how it works now, he muttered. I save her, and time looks for something else to take. The thought made his chest tighten. In his first life, the world had taken Hinata openly, brutally, in front of him. In this life, it would be subtler, crueler. Naruto pushed himself away from the tree and began moving toward the village. He kept his chakra suppressed, moving through back paths and rooftops, avoiding attention. He could not afford questions right now. Not from Anbu. Not from Kakashi. Not from the Hokage. As he reached the outskirts, a familiar presence stopped him cold. Hinata. She stood near the edge of a quiet street, hands clasped nervously in front of her, eyes scanning the path anxiously. The moment she saw Naruto, her shoulders sagged with relief. "En Naruto-kun," she said, rushing toward him. "You're safe." Naruto's heart twisted. "I told you to go home," he said gently but firmly. Hinata looked down. "I did, but I waited. I couldn't just leave." Naruto closed his eyes briefly. This was exactly how it had always been. Hinata never ran far from danger if she thought he might need her. "I'm fine," Naruto said. "But next time, you listen to me. Please." She nodded quickly. "I promise." Naruto studied her face carefully, searching for any sign that the masked shinobi had touched her again. Her chakra was steady, clean, safe. For now. Hinata hesitated, then spoke softly. "That pressure, earlier. I've never felt anything like it. It felt like the world was watching." Naruto stiffened. She felt it too. Time wasn't only watching him. It was watching her. "That's why I need you to be careful," Naruto said. "More than ever." Hinata met his eyes. "Naruto-kun, why are you doing this?" He paused. "Doing what?" She took a breath. "Standing in front of danger like that. Watching over me. Putting yourself in the way." Naruto looked away toward the fading sunlight between rooftops. "Because I already lost you once. Because I remember holding you as you died. Because I will not live that future again." He couldn't say any of it. "Because you matter," he said simply. Hinata's breath caught. Her cheeks flushed faintly, but she did not look away. "I'm not strong," she said quietly. "If they come again, I might slow you down." Naruto turned back to her, eyes steady. "No," he said. "You're the reason I'm standing at all." Hinata froze. Naruto realized how much truth he had allowed to slip through. He softened his voice. "I mean, believing in someone is strength too." She nodded, though her expression remained troubled. They walked in silence toward the Hyuga compound, Naruto keeping himself half a step ahead, scanning every shadow. At the gates, Hinata stopped. "Will I see you tomorrow?" she asked. Naruto hesitated. Every moment he stayed close to her increased the pressure, increased the cost. But every moment he stayed away left her unguarded. "Yes," he said finally. "But not like before." Hinata tilted her head slightly. "What do you mean?" Naruto looked at her with quiet resolve. "From now on," he said, "I won't be far." Her eyes widened slightly. Naruto turned and left before she could respond. He moved quickly through the village, his thoughts racing. The masked shinobi had confirmed it. Hinata was no longer just a person in this timeline. She was a variable, a trigger, and Naruto was the force destabilizing everything. As he reached his apartment, Naruto stopped. The air felt wrong. Too still. He slowly looked up. A presence lingered on the rooftop opposite him. Not hostile. Not hidden. Observing. Naruto narrowed his eyes. "You don't need to hide," he said quietly. "I know you're there." A figure stepped into view, cloak fluttering slightly. This one wore no mask. And that made it worse. I was wondering how long it would take you to notice, the figure said calmly. Naruto's breath hitched. He recognized the chakra. Not from the past. From the future. You. Naruto said. The figure smiled faintly. You're accelerating things, the man said. Protecting her sooner than expected. Naruto clenched his fists. Stay away from Hinata. The man's smile faded. That, he said, may no longer be your decision. Quote. Naruto felt the familiar resistance of time pressing against his chest again. The figure stepped back. Rest while you can, Naruto Uzumaki, he said. The next correction won't be so patient. He vanished. Naruto stood alone beneath the darkening sky. His second chance was shrinking. Time was losing tolerance. And Hinata's safety was now tied directly to how much Naruto was willing to sacrifice. Part 1 was approaching its breaking point. And Naruto knew one thing with absolute certainty. He would pay any price. Even if the world demanded everything else in return. Naruto did not sleep that night. He sat on the edge of his bed, elbows resting on his knees, staring at the floor while the village outside slowly sank into silence. Every sound carried weight now. Every distant footstep, every shifting shadow outside his window felt like a possible threat. The words of the man from the rooftop echoed endlessly in his mind. The next correction won't be so patient. Naruto clenched his fists. So this was how it worked. Time did not simply react. It adapted. It escalated. Each act of protection tightened the noose, forcing the world to rebalance itself in harsher ways. Hinata had survived today, but the future had already begun sharpening its knives. Naruto closed his eyes, memories flooding back uninvited. The moment Hinata stepped forward against pain. The disbelief on his face. The helpless rage that followed. His chest tightened painfully. That never happens again, he whispered. A knock came at his door. Naruto froze instantly. It was late. Too late for Iruka. Too quiet for pranksters. His senses reached outward, catching a familiar chakra signature. Iruka. Naruto exhaled and stood, opening the door. Iruka stood there with a concerned expression, arms crossed loosely. You weren't at dinner, Iruka said. And I heard about what happened at the training ground. Naruto stepped aside. I'm fine. Iruka entered, eyes scanning the room. You say that every time. He stopped in front of Naruto, studying him carefully. You're different lately, Iruka said quietly. More focused. More serious. And today, you put yourself in danger without hesitation. Naruto swallowed. Iruka continued. You didn't do that before. Not like that. Quote. Naruto forced a small smile. Guess I'm growing up. Iruka shook his head slowly. Growing up doesn't usually come with this much weight. Naruto looked away. He wanted to tell him. He wanted to say everything. But he knew better. Iruka sighed. Just don't carry everything alone, Naruto. You don't have to prove anything. Naruto nodded. I know. Iruka hesitated at the door. And Naruto, be careful around the Hyuga girl. Trouble tends to follow you. Naruto's jaw tightened. I'll make sure it doesn't touch her, he said. Iruka studied him one last time, then left. Naruto locked the door and leaned against it, exhaling slowly. Even Iruka could feel it. The tension around him. Naruto lay back on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Sleep eventually dragged him under, but it was restless, fractured by half-formed visions of futures that refused to stay still. Morning came too quickly. Naruto was already awake when the sun rose. He moved through the village like a ghost, avoiding crowds, watching reflections in windows, scanning rooftops. Time was watching him now. He reached the academy grounds just as students began arriving. Their laughter felt distant, unreal. He took his seat, eyes flicking automatically to the entrance. Hinata arrived quietly, slipping into the classroom without drawing attention. When her eyes met Naruto's, she hesitated, then offered a small, tentative smile. Naruto nodded once. A simple gesture, but it carried more meaning than either of them understood. Class began, but Naruto barely listened. His senses were tuned outward, feeling for disturbances, watching for the smallest deviation. And then he felt it. A subtle shift. Not chakra. Not killing intent. Probability. Something adjusted. Naruto's heart skipped. Outside the classroom window, the shadow of a passing cloud bent unnaturally, stretching against the direction of the sun. Naruto's fingers tightened around his desk. Not here. Not now. But time was not listening. The instructor continued speaking, unaware. Students scribbled notes. The world carried on. Naruto slowly turned his head. Hinata had stiffened. Her eyes widened slightly as she stared at the floor beneath her desk. She felt it too. Naruto stood abruptly. The instructor snapped, "Naruto, sit down." Naruto ignored him. He moved fast, crossing the room in seconds, placing himself directly in front of Hinata's desk. "What are you doing?" someone muttered. The floor beneath Hinata cracked. A black seal flared briefly, etched into the wood like a burn mark, then vanished. The classroom gasped. Naruto slammed his hand down where the seal had been, chakra flaring violently. The pressure shattered the remaining trace, splintering the desk. Hinata recoiled, eyes wide with shock. "And Naruto." Naruto turned to face the room, breathing hard. The instructor stared in disbelief. "Naruto, explain yourself." Naruto didn't answer. Because he knew. Time had stopped being subtle. This was no scout. No observer. This was a direct attempt. And it had happened in the one place Naruto could not fight freely. The room buzzed with panic. Students whispered. Chairs scraped. Naruto slowly turned back to Hinata. She was shaking. "Hinata," he said quietly, "I need you to trust me." She nodded instantly. Naruto looked up toward the ceiling, eyes hard. "So that's how you want to play it," he murmured. The seal was meant to trigger fear. To isolate her. To make Naruto hesitate. It failed. Naruto straightened. If time wanted escalation, he would answer it. Not with caution, but with absolute resolve. Because this was no longer about preventing one future. This was about declaring war on fate itself. And Naruto Uzumaki was done reacting. He was ready to strike back. The classroom had fallen into chaos. Students whispered urgently, chairs scraped backward, and the instructor shouted Naruto's name again, louder this time. But Naruto heard none of it. His entire focus was locked onto the fading scorch mark beneath Hinata's desk, the last echo of a seal that shall not have existed in this time. Time had crossed a line. Naruto slowly straightened, his breathing controlled, his expression frighteningly calm. He turned to Hinata, who was still frozen in her seat, hands clenched tightly in her lap. "Stand up," Naruto said softly. Hinata obeyed without question, rising on unsteady legs. Naruto moved her 2 steps back, placing himself exactly where the seal had appeared. He pressed his palm to the floor again, forcing his chakra down, deeper, searching for any lingering distortion. Nothing. The mark was gone. Erased deliberately. A warning, not an attack. Naruto's jaw tightened. The instructor rushed forward. "Naruto, what is the meaning of this?" Naruto finally looked up. "There was something dangerous here," he said plainly. "That was the floor," the instructor snapped. "You destroyed school property and frightened the class." Naruto did not argue. Because arguing wasted time. He turned to Hinata again. "You're leaving." Hinata blinked. Leaving. With me?" Naruto said. Now. The room erupted. "What? You can't just. Hokage-sama will." Naruto cut through the noise. "Sensei," he said, voice firm, "if she stays here, something worse will happen." The instructor stared at him, stunned by the certainty in his tone. Hinata swallowed. "Naruto-kun, is this because of me?" Quote. Naruto met her eyes. "Yes." The honesty made her breath hitch. "But not because you did anything wrong," he continued. "Because someone else decided you mattered." Naruto took her hand. The room went silent. Hinata's face flushed, but she did not pull away. Naruto led her toward the door, ignoring every voice behind them. The moment they stepped into the hallway, Naruto felt it again. Resistance. The air thickened slightly, like invisible pressure pushing back against his movement. Time did not want them to leave together. It wanted Hinata isolated, vulnerable. Naruto tightened his grip. Don't let go, he said quietly. Hinata nodded. They moved fast through the corridors, Naruto scanning ahead, behind, above. Every shadow was suspect now. As they exited the academy, Naruto felt multiple chakra signatures flare across the village. Anbu. Observers. Time was panicking. Naruto pulled Hinata into a side street, ducking into a narrow alley between buildings. He pressed his back to the wall, shielding her completely. Hinata's breath came in short bursts. Naruto-kun, what is happening? Naruto closed his eyes briefly. How much could he tell her? Not everything. But not nothing anymore. There are people, he said carefully, who don't like when the future changes. Hinata frowned slightly. The future. Naruto opened his eyes and looked at her fully. I can't explain it all, he said. But I need you to understand one thing. He placed his hand gently over hers. You are in danger. Not because of who you are now, but because of who you become. Hinata's eyes widened. Me. Naruto nodded. In another future, he said quietly, you were braver than anyone. Stronger than you knew. And because of that, the world tried to take you. Hinata's chest tightened. And you? She asked softly. What happens to you? Quote. Naruto's jaw clenched. I lose you. Silence stretched between them. Then Hinata spoke, her voice trembling but steady. Then, I don't want that future. Naruto looked at her sharply. She met his gaze, resolve flickering behind her fear. If something is trying to decide my life for me, she said, then I want to fight it too. Naruto's heart skipped. No, he said immediately. I won't let you. Hinata shook her head. You can't protect me forever if you won't trust me. Quote. The words hit him harder than any attack. Naruto looked away, struggling. Trusting her meant involving her. Involving her meant greater risk. But pushing her away was exactly what time wanted. Naruto exhaled slowly. Then we do this my way, he said. You stay close to me. You train harder. And if anything feels wrong, you tell me immediately. Hinata nodded without hesitation. I will. At that moment, a familiar presence dropped into the alley. Kakashi Hatake landed silently, eye sharp, posture relaxed but ready. Naruto, Kakashi said, you're causing quite the disturbance. Naruto did not let go of Hinata's hand. I know, he replied. Kakashi's gaze flicked briefly to Hinata, then back to Naruto. The Hokage wants answers. Naruto met his eye evenly. Then he'll get some. Just not all. Kakashi studied him for a long moment. You're walking a dangerous line. Naruto nodded. I crossed it already. Quote. Kakashi sighed quietly. I thought so. He straightened. For now, Kakashi said, I'll escort you both. But Naruto, whatever you're dealing with, it's bigger than you think. Naruto's grip tightened slightly. I know, he said. As they stepped back into the street, Naruto felt it again. A distant shift. Not an attack. A recalculation. Time adjusting its approach. The academy incident was only the beginning. Hinata was no longer hidden. Naruto was no longer subtle. And fate was preparing its next move. Because protecting Hinata was no longer a quiet defiance. It was an open declaration. Kakashi led them through the village without drawing attention, but Naruto could feel the tension spreading like a silent alarm. Eyes followed them from windows. Chakra signatures shifted on rooftops. The world had noticed. Hinata walked close to Naruto's side, her steps steady despite the fear still lingering in her eyes. She did not pull her hand away. She did not look back. Naruto kept his focus forward. Every instinct told him this was the moment everything truly changed. They stopped near a quiet intersection where Kakashi finally turned to face Naruto. His single visible eye studied him carefully, not as a teacher or a superior, but as someone trying to understand a threat he could not yet name. You disrupted a fixed point, Kakashi said. Whatever caused that seal in the academy wasn't random. Quote. Naruto nodded. It wasn't. And it targeted her, Kakashi continued, glancing briefly at Hinata. Yes. Kakashi exhaled slowly. Then things will escalate. Naruto met his gaze without flinching. I'm counting on it. Kakashi paused, then straightened. I'll report what I can without spreading panic. Until then, stay close to trusted shinobi. Both of you. Hinata bowed respectfully. Naruto nodded once. Kakashi vanished, leaving him alone beneath the open sky. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The village looked the same as it always had. Shops open, people passing by, children laughing somewhere in the distance. But Naruto knew better. The future had cracked. Hinata finally broke the silence. Naruto-kun, are things going to get worse? Naruto looked down at her. Yes, he said honestly. She swallowed. Then, will you still protect me? Quote. Naruto did not hesitate. I will, he said. No matter what it costs. Hinata's eyes softened, resolve quietly taking root. Then, she said, I won't run away anymore. Naruto felt something shift inside him. Not time. Not fate. Something stronger. He turned his gaze toward the horizon, where unseen forces were already moving pieces into place. They would send stronger agents. They would twist circumstances. They would demand balance through sacrifice. Naruto welcomed it. Because this time, he wasn't chasing the future. He was standing in its way. And Hinata was no longer a quiet thread in the background of destiny. She was the center of it. The world had made its first correction. Naruto had answered. And from this moment forward, every step he took would challenge the shape of fate itself. Thank you.